How to use Captiva capture. This is the way you handled all those invoices that you sent through the scanner for exceptions, and it's pretty easy. First place we're going to go to is identification. This is this little blue icon down at the bottom, and just go ahead and click it. There's no need for you to place a password in here. Just click on login, and once this comes up, you'll see what we call batches. Batches are what you've scanned in and captured by the date that you scanned those invoices in. So over here you can sort these out as well. What you want to do is you want to just go by your location. So Fort Pierce, do Fort Pierce, Maine, that's the main office. Do Maine. South Miami is this, and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and just sort this out by the last one. So let's do Fort Pierce. So what you're going to do here is you're just going to double click it, and here comes the invoice, and what it's looking for is that invoice number. This is just to confirm it. Up here you'll see templates. It already has chosen the proper one, which is professional services, which is for Fort Pierce. And what we're going to do here is you can either type in the invoice, or you can right click with the mouse and just drag a box right by that invoice number, right on top of it, like that, and then let go. And you'll notice that invoice number is automatically then adds it to this cell right here. And once you do that, it's going to go ahead and say complete current task and go to the next. If for some reason that was wrong, you want to go ahead and stay on current page and then redo that, or type it in yourself. So once you do that, just go ahead and hit enter. So that batch is finished. Let's go ahead and do another one. Let's go do this next one. Just double click it. So you just do your own. This one over here, this is a road service, and here we noticed that it didn't really pick up any sort of template. The one that you want to use that is default is what we call freeform, and the freeform one is freeform invoice, but you want to use the one that says US. Okay, this one right here. So go ahead and click on that and just double click it. It's going to assign that template to this, and now because this is handwriting, it's really not going to pick it up. You're going to have to do this manually, and so I'm assuming this is probably an invoice, and then you're just going to go ahead and type that in, okay, and just hit enter, and so forth. If you want to keep going through your batches, you can. So you can just double click another one and do the same thing. Here on this one, didn't recognize that this is Kimball West, but it did use its own template for, which is a freeform, and it did find the invoice number, and here it is down at the bottom. So let's go ahead and just hit enter and complete. So those are finished, and what we're going to do is now we're going to go to the next step, which is completion. So what completion is going to do is it's going to now, at that point, it's going to go through what's called a recognition process, where it's now going to go use that template to extract all the other pertinent information, like invoice date. Hopefully it's going to find the vendor name. It'll also do totals and anything else that's needed. So that next one is the next icon right here. So let's go ahead and click on this one. Same way, just click on login. When this comes up, you're going to see empty. Just click on select all. And here's the ones that pop up. So I'm going to again just sort this, and I'm just going to go from the top. And here's one that just came in today, and it bypassed identification. And the reason why it did that is that it knew what type of invoice that was, and it knew that it where the invoice number was. So it did all that. There was no reason for it to even go stop it in identification. It just went ahead right into completion. So let's go ahead and open up this one. So here, down on the bottom, kind of gives you a little bit of summary that this is vendor name. This also over here gives us the purchase order number, and you can see that it finds it. So if we click here, over here, this is where you would do all the data entry. Now what it didn't pick up was the invoice date, and probably the reason why is because these guys have the date in a totally different type of format. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and just type it in. Okay, so we're going to go 062221. There's no need to put in slashes. I'm going to just hit tab, and look what happens. It automatically places the slashes in here for you. The PO number, that's correct. That is the vendor name and the vendor ID. Now, the other part that you want to just take a quick look and make sure that is correct is the invoice total. So down here, you can see that it did highlight it and add that into it. So what we're just going to do is just hit enter, enter again, until it completely finishes. So it finished that one. So now what happens is that this is going to end up in application extender automatically. So let's come back. Let's do the next one. This as well is from Schumacher. So again, the invoice date didn't pick that up. Want that. So we're going to go ahead and let's go find this invoice date. Same thing. And we're going to go and hit 062221. Now this time it didn't pick up the purchase order. And the reason why is probably maybe this line right here didn't totally recognize it. So again, just like we did in identification, we can right click the mouse and draw a box around that PO number, and then just drops it in automatically. It did find that this is the correct vendor, and let's take a look at the invoice total. Over here is a summary. This is a quick way, like a shortcut, just to get to that area. So it did pick it up and it did find it, so that was correct. So let's go ahead and hit enter, enter, finish. Okay, next one comes up, same vendor, that's correct, right? Only thing else that didn't pick up is the invoice date and then the PO number. So let's go ahead and we can scroll up and let's put in that. Now if it's always the same, you can always do a copy and paste. So if you know that the invoice dates are going to be the same in that batch, you can just copy that once you enter it, and then just paste it each time to make it easier for yourself. But let's go ahead and do this. And then also here, the PO wasn't found, and probably again this line kind of disrupted it, but let's go and draw that box and add that in here. Enter, enter, So we basically have invoice number, invoice date, PO number, vendor name, vendor ID, and invoice total. So I'd say 80% of it was filled out automatically by the process, and really you just have to fill in the ones that it did miss. So we're gonna do this again. And I'm clicking on enter, okay? And that takes me to the empty space. Again, we're gonna take this PO number and add that in there. And that's it. I'll do one more. And let's go ahead and do this one. So this is the one that I believe we had an issue here with handwriting. So again, you're going to put in the date. There isn't a PO number to this, then obviously you're not going to do that. Now, it didn't recognize the vendor. So what you're going to do is you can either click on vendor right here, this tab, or just like it shows you on your keyboard, you can click on Alt V. So alternative V will bring up a pick list. So what you're going to do is you're going to just start typing in that that vendor, ABC T. If it's not in there, then what you're going to do is then just go ahead and type in miscellaneous, because for some reason that was not in the database. So let's go ahead and do that. And then from there you can always change. Just let me know, and then I'll make sure that that's going to be in there, the ABC towing in that database. So let's go ahead and hit make sure that's miscellaneous, which it is. Now total, again, because it's handprint, we're going to probably have to add that manually. Which is $107. And then if there isn't a PO, just keep going to the next until it finishes. Let's go and grab one more, especially the ones that we did from identification. Click on that one. So here, let's take a look, and looks like it picked up the invoice date. Looks like it picked up the purchase order, and the only thing is that it didn't recognize that this is Kimball West. So let's go ahead and click on vendor and start typing in Kimball. Then here you'll notice that it's here. Just double click on it, and that'll add that vendor name and vendor ID right in there. Let's go to invoice total, and this one it picked up the wrong one. It looks like it went to invoice number instead of total. So let's go ahead. So that's why we added the summary here, so you can take a quick look. If it looks like it's off a little bit, then go ahead and confirm it. This is the invoice total. and just go ahead and zone into that to extract it. And that is it. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.